Hello and welcome to Just One More Watch. It appears to be chronograph season. Now, as an affordable watch reviewer, good quality chronos aren't necessarily something that I see all that often, and yet at the moment I am seemingly inundated with the things. Today I have the brand new Kruger chronograph by New Zealand/South African microbrand Draken in for review. I'm a big fan of Draken watches. I included them in my top 25 micro brands of the world video a couple of years ago, and I have recommended their various models elsewhere since then. Why? Because the prices are good and because their watches are packed full of well-considered features and specifications that you wouldn't necessarily expect. For example, the Kruger starts at under $400 US. It's made of grade 2 titanium, which is then hardness coated. It has top and bottom anti-reflective treatment on the sapphire crystal. It's got fantastic lume, including a lumed crown. It's got drilled lugs. It's got an adjustable clasp, quick release end links. All versions come with a bonus single pass nylon strap, and some of the profits from every purchase go towards protecting rhinoceroses in the Kruger National Park in brand owner Michael's country of birth, South Africa, as denoted by the cracking looking rhino caseback. In fact, the Kruger is so good it has given me personally a massive problem to deal with, which I'll tell you about a bit later on. What I better tell you about before then though is this video is sponsored by Draken. These watches go on sale right now, today, this minute, and are expected to ship in mid-September. I'll leave a link to the landing page for the Kruger in the description of the video. Alright, there's actually a hell of a lot to get through today, including 3 different movements, 2 different finishes, 2 different dial layouts, 3 different bezel inserts, 4 straps, and a bracelet. So choice is not one thing that is in short supply. So strap yourself in, here goes. Here are the first 2 for you. This is what they're calling the A dial because it looks like a Type A Flieger with those large Arabic numerals. This one is powered by a Seiko VK63 Mecha Quartz. It has a symmetrical 3 register layout at the 3, the 6 and the 9, plus a date down there at the 6. The VK63 has a 60-minute chronograph and a 24-hour sub-dial. Black dial on the left and a full lume dial on the right. And look at the bezel inserts. It's a 60-click bidirectional bezel on these. You can see a 12-hour bezel on the left watch, allowing you to track a second time zone, and a countdown timer on the right watch, allowing you to count down. You can also see the bracelet and canvas options. Moving on then. These 2 are the B dial, a more modern pilot style without the numerals. Again, black dial or full lume dial. This time leather or rubber strap options. But check the dial layouts. This one features a VK67, which also has 3 registers, but at 6, 9 and 12, and a date at the 4:30. The VK67 is a 12-hour chronograph, arguably more functional, but not as aesthetically pleasing as the 63. And check the bezels, count up on the left and 12-hour on the right. Still with me? Let's keep going. These 2 are A dials, but with DLC cases. These 2 are B dials, but with DLC cases. It's the free single pass canvas on the left and the DLC bracelet on the watch on the right. And finally, this B dial features not a Seiko VK, but a Valjoux 7750. Now they're only making 50 of these only in the black B dial, and they're around 3 times the price of the Mecha Quartz. But hey, Valjoux 7750. But Jody, how much does all of this cost? Well, don't worry, before you switch off, I'm going to highlight what I think you need to know here. Pre-order pricing in US dollars on the bracelet is $460, the DLC bracelet is $508, and the automatic, a nice and neat $1,454.65. If you want the canvas option, which is the cheapest of the straps, again, a nice round $387.55, $436 for the DLC, and $1,381.89 for the auto. If that sounds a bit steep, let me put it in context by showing you this very similarly styled Damasco containing exactly the same Valjoux 7750 for twice the price of the Draken. You'll see the Damasco a little later on again though. I think those prices are really pretty good for what's on offer. However, the pre-order prices are 20% less than the RRP, so if you're watching this video in 6 months' time, the prices are therefore 20% less good. And check out the packaging, some of the best in the business, I reckon. It's a nice box. Contained inside it is a neat little Velcro pouch designed to attach to a backpack if you really want it to. There's a little badge featuring the model name and, of course, in this case, a rhino. You open the Velcro pouch up and you've got this bamboo pull tab. Pull the tab and you've got your watch and your extra strap. It's fun, it's playful, but it's also very functional and very, very well made throughout. I got sent 2 of these for review, a Mecha Quartz with the A dial and the Auto with the B dial. As intimated, there are pros and cons to both layouts. It's a bit of a trade-off perhaps between aesthetics and functionality. You can decide which is the priority for you. Let's do dimensions then, starting with the Mecha Quartz. This is a full-size chronograph at 44mm in diameter across the bezel anyway. The bezel actually sits a little outboard of the case for grip, but it certainly has all of the wrist presence of a 44, as you'll see. Thickness is 12.7, lug to lug though, a really rather compact 48.5, meaning it's far more wearable than you would expect from a watch this big. Lug width is 22mm. Weight though, weight varies depending on the strap, from 69 grams on the single pass nylon to 134 grams on the bracelet. Water resistance is 100 meters with the aid of a screw down crown. Crystal is double dome sapphire with double anti-reflective coating, and the movement, well, as discussed, it's either a VK63 or a VK67. Now the Auto is similar in most areas, however it is considerably thicker at 15.8 and considerably heavier with a weight range of at least 93 grams all the way up to 159 grams on the bracelet. The movement obviously is the legendary 7750. Now I'm not going to go too much into detail about the movements, or this would quickly end up being a 25-minute video. Check the website for more information. The Seiko is a perfect grab-and-go style choice. They're accurate, they're reliable, and they will tick away happily in your box for several years between batteries. The Valjoux has been powering all kinds of watches pretty much unchanged since the mid-1970s. In fact, it was launched in the middle of the quartz crisis and somehow managed to survive and go on to become a bit of a must-have for modern-day collectors. Apart from the thickness, the case is the same on both watches. It's the same grade 2 titanium, the same blasted finish, which is then coated to retain that signature grey colour, but with added scratch resistance. It's a simple angular case. The Draken branded loomed crown is semi-guarded, and the lugs themselves are actually quite slender, helping to make the watch wear smaller than the diameter dimension would suggest. Let's have another quick look at the case back. It's very well executed and there's a lovely sentiment behind it as well. As discussed, all watches feature a 60-click bi-directional bezel. It's probably more necessary if you opt for the 12-hour insert rather than one of the counting inserts. As I mentioned, the bezel sticks out a bit and the case tapers down a bit, meaning it's super easy to grip when you need to do just that. The bracelet is perhaps more suited to a $500 watch than a $1,500 watch though. It's okay, it's like a kind of 3-link engineer, screws hold it all together, it's got solid end links with quick release spring bars and a stainless steel clasp to ensure durability and longevity, as titanium clasps tend to wear a bit quicker if you keep opening them and closing them. The clasp itself features the Draken brand name. Maybe there's a missed opportunity there. Maybe they could have squeezed the logo on there as well, because there is a lot of empty space. It features 4 positions of tool-free adjustment over roughly a centimetre. This is the single pass nylon that comes with all of the numerous options. This is the kind of bonus strap, if you will. It's very nice, and because it's a single pass, it helps the watch wear as slim as possible. Do bear in mind though, the Auto is nearly 16mm thick, so any more bulk underneath it is going to be noticed. This is the leather strap. It's high quality, it smells good, it looks good, and it has nice matching hardware. I'm sure you've had a good look at both dial types already, but let's give them their own little moment in the sunshine. This is the A. Everything is just printed on, including the numerals, the brand name and the brand logo, and all of these sub-register markings. Now the numerals and hands have a slight fauxtina to them, a slight creamy tinge, as will be reflected in the upcoming loom shot. That helps just to break up the kind of monotone look just a little bit. There is a lot going on with this one. There are 3 sub-registers, a date complication, large Arabics, the signature triangle at 12, minute markers, and a fully graded bezel. But because the watch is 44, it all looks very well proportioned. It's a traditional Flieger style handset with blacked out center section, and the only touch of colour per se on the watch, a blue needle central chronograph hand. The B dial auto clearly has a different layout, with the 7750's signature day date complication at the 3 and a 12-hour chronograph. This one features long fence post style baton indices rather than numerals. It loses the signature triangle and it gains just a little bit more colour because the model name is printed on the dial in red to match the red central chronograph hand. On wrist. Look, with a wide range of thicknesses and weights available across the various different options, the wearing experience is also going to vary considerably therefore. Mecha Quartz on a rubber strap or something is going to be the slimmest and the lightest. The automatic on the bracelet is going to be the heaviest. Automatic on the single pass nylon is going to be the thickest. It doesn't take a genius to work all that out, which is just as well because I'm certainly not a genius. The Mecha Quartz on this single pass wears really nicely actually. It looks big, it's clean and easy to read because it's a 44mm, but as noted, the case angles inwards, those lugs are slim, the watch is light, and even with this nylon, it still doesn't feel thick when you're wearing it. You cannot therefore get the best of everything with this one. You get the best legibility and the best wrist presence, but without the bulk and the thickness. You certainly get plenty of wrist presence with the automatic. Yeah, it's definitely noticeably thicker, coming in as it does at just under 16mm. You know, I've reviewed quite a few watches with values in them over the years, and I've never seen one less than about 14.5mm. Most of them tend to be around the 15.5mm, just like this one is. Still, it's not massively heavy despite its size though, and even in this kind of, in inverted commas, top configuration, it still only weighs in at just over 150 grams. Size for me. If you have a big wrist, you might have to ask for some extra links though. I only had to remove 3, so if you have an 8.5 inch plus wrist, you might have to ask the brand for a couple more to be comfortable. And you can really see that double layer anti-reflective coating working well, can't you? Of course, if you treat the watch roughly, that top layer will scratch off, but you really do need to treat it roughly for that to happen. And I guess you'll always have the bottom layer. And finally, before I start complaining, let's have a look at the loom. As intimated, the off-color hands and hour markers use a green loom, whereas the bezel insert uses a blue loom. It's a nice two-tone effect overall. Loom seems well applied on both of the different dials, by the way, but printed markers are just never going to give you the same long-term effect as applied indices. And when I turn the speed up on these, you can see that's the case. The numerals or the batons, depending on the dial, they do fade. But crucially, the hands do not, meaning you can still get a good read on both of these watches at the end of my test, which I always think anecdotally is about 4 or 5 hours of human eye equivalent. All right, moans and niggles. I really like this watch, but I always find plenty of things to complain about, don't I? Well, despite the myriad choices, some people are still not going to be satisfied with the available selection, I'm sure, because they just don't enjoy titanium. They prefer steel. You know what, I kind of get that. If you enjoy the nicer finishing of steel and the extra weight on your wrist, and titanium, especially coated titanium like this, you always get that slightly powdery feel in hand. It's never quite as tactile as an old steel watch is. And it is a larger size watch. Again, that might not suit everyone. Personally, I've always felt that 41 to 42 was the sweet spot for chronographs. This one certainly a bit bigger than that. The brand name etched into the side of the case, it seems to be a Draken signature, but again, it's not going to please everyone. The VK63 may be symmetrical, but the 24-hour sub-register is pretty much useless. And on both watches, the seconds hand does not point to individual markers. On the Auto, you get markers every 5 seconds. On the Mecha Quartz, you have to make do with markers every 15 seconds. So if you want to time something to the second, shock horror, you're going to have to use the chronograph. And it's a really nice design, it's super legible and super clean, but it's definitely not what you'd call original or radically different from a Damasco, a Zinn, or a Fortis, or a lot of other brands doing a very similar type of pilot's chronograph. But my biggest problem is not even about the watch. My biggest problem is that my brand Erebus has not released a chronograph yet. Stephen and I have discussed it at length, and we want to do a modern pilot style chronograph. The Draken Kruger has just given us both a major headache because it is undoubtedly the new benchmark for modern pilot style chronographs by micro brands. It's a great watch, it's clearly been well thought out end to end, it's well spec'd, it's well priced, and don't forget, if you buy one, you're also helping to save those rhinos. So there you have it, another impressive release from a brand that continues to impress me with their releases. They very much have their own style in terms of size and in terms of the slightly aggressive angularity of their cases and bezels, etc. Not everyone is going to be into that therefore, but if you like it, then buy with confidence. I think these are really good. While you're here, why not check out another of Draken's watches, either this one or perhaps this one. Thanks for watching, I'll see you again in the next one.